Hello everyone, and this is Ankush from Unique Zone Real Estate. Today I'm just going to be talking about a very important topic. People buy property for the purpose of earning income. Now, how do you earn income in real estate? One, by buying and selling, you make a profit. Second, you lease it out and you earn a rental income on your property. Now, there are two ways in which you can earn rental income. One is through the long-term rentals, where you give it out on an annual contract, and the other one is through the short-term property management route, wherein a property runs as a holiday home, which could be either yourself running the property, taking out a license from the Economic and Tourism Department, or giving it to a property management company which is licensed to do so. Once you decide that you will give your property for short term, then it's better always to use an operator. So when you decide that you want to give your property out on rent, you have two choices. One is to give it on a long-term lease to a resident in UAE, because long-term rentals are only allowed to residents in UAE. So the person should have a residency visa and he should make the payments through checks or wire transfer directly into the landlord's account. If you decide to give your property on short-term property management, you could either do it yourself, taking out a license from the Economic and Tourism Department, or choose a short-term operator. Now, the advantages of using a short-term operator are that he is not just managing one property, he is managing a pool of properties. Usually it could be in the range of 20 to 100 or maybe even more than 200 properties, depending upon the size and the experience of the operator. The operator has an advantage. He has the reach and he has a set of followers also who have been coming and going, and people have a certain expectation about that particular brand which has been built over a number of years. A lot of people ask, why should we give a property on short term and why shouldn't I just take a fixed income? So the basic difference between the two is the return on investment. So basically the main differentiator between a short term and a long term is the ROI. So if you're talking about a long term property rental income in Dubai, on an average, it ranges from 5 to 7% as compared to short term, where you can earn anywhere from 8 to 12% returns, depending upon which year, what is the kind of tourism expected, and where is your property located. So the quality of the property, the location of the property, and the operator, these things matter a lot when you really want to make a good return on your property. People think that they can put a normal IKEA furniture and they can run their property. It is not that. You have to have a property which really looks nice. When people come in, they should have a very good experience, because most of the portals on which short-term properties are exhibited, are sold through, they are all run by AI. And it's the reviews and it's the feedback, it's the quality of the pictures and the quality of the building and the amenities that take into consideration how much rental income you're going to be able to generate. So coming back to, again, the differentiator. So first point is the ROI. You get a much higher ROI when you are on a short-term property management as compared to long. Now, people say that, okay, I'm ready to compromise 1 or 2%, but I still want, I would still prefer a long-term rent. Now, there comes another challenge, actually two challenges. One is that when you put your property on a long-term rental, your property is locked for a year. And if you want to sell your property, you have to give a 1-year vacation notice to your tenant, which is as per law, because the law wants a longevity of the tenant. They don't want that you put a tenant now, tomorrow the rent goes up and you start demanding higher rent and you evict the tenant. So if you're giving your property on a long-term rent, consider this aspect, very, very important aspect, that you're not going to be able to vacate your property in a 3 months time period or in a jiffy, that you decide now and tomorrow you ask the tenant to go out. So you have to follow the law. You have to give a 1-year legal notice to the tenant if you want to sell your property or if you want to move into your property. And these are the only two reasons under which you will be allowed to ask the tenant to move out of your property. The other thing which has been an issue, of course, Land Department and Central Bank are working on this, is that we have been working on multiple checks for rentals. Now, suppose tomorrow one of the checks gets bounced, and there have been certain cases in the past where tenants' checks have bounced, or somebody, a property management company took over a property, they gave multiple checks, first check got cleared, but after that the check didn't clear. To vacate a property takes time. There are laws, the rent dispute committee is there from the Land Department, but it takes a good amount of time and effort, at least 3 to 6 months. You have to follow up on your case to get the tenant out. you may or you may not get the full amount of rent that you were supposed to get in this particular case. So my personal suggestion and what I do with my own investment is to give my properties on short-term rent. I hope this session was helpful to you and it would make your decision on choosing the right rental solution for your property. For more such topics, please continue to like, share and subscribe to Unique Zone Real Estate's social media handles, and hopefully you will get more informative videos and ideas in the future as well.